Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Browns Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, and this is where you can get caught up on some of the latest news that involves our Cleveland Browns and then get a take or two along the way. Thank you to everyone who has liked our previous episodes and has subscribed to the channel. Really appreciate it. And to those of you who get your voices heard down there in the viewer comment section. As you can see, we are back in the Browns' latest studio after the breaking news from yesterday involving Quinshon Judkins, and I'll explain more like how it all went down here in just a moment. But other things coming up on the show today, of course, the latest on Quinshon Judkins, who's out of jail, but he's expected to be at a couple of events in Cleveland beginning tonight. There is a lot to sort through here, folks. Also, one Browns player named to the top 25 list of players who are under 25 years old. So some good news to report today as well. And then executives, scouts, and coordinators, talent evaluators, they all voted on the top tight ends and interior linemen in the league. And it's not so much who made the list that surprised me. It's who didn't make the lists that I was like, whoa, a little bit of a shock. And down in the viewer comments, there's a lot of chatter about Quinshon Judkins. And so we'll sort through some of those. And that's where we're going to start, folks. I mean, what are we going to do? This is just not what nobody wants this with rookies reporting on Friday. And Quinshon Judkins arrested in Florida, as we talked about yesterday. There is the inmate log is what they call it in official terms. Thankfully, I'm not well voiced on police terms because it's just such a frustrating situation as a Browns fan, and we'll get to it. But for Lauderdale Police, a little more detail we got yesterday. He said this happened at a place on West Cypress Creek Road around 9 in the morning. And they spoke with the victim, the police did, and then made contact with Judkins. He's only 21. And they arrested him. So he's an adult. And it was unclear, and I don't know, maybe some of this will come out today, like if he was still there or where the police finally talked to him. And then they charged him with a misdemeanor domestic crime. And so, they labeled it, they described the charge as touch or strike / battery / domestic violence. But misdemeanor is big. That changes things slightly, because it's a misdemeanor. Here's the thing: he is so far out of the woods. He has so many things to deal with because, there were questions in the chat about, can the NFL punish a player who hasn't signed a contract yet? He has not signed that contract, and the reason, we had just talked about this on Friday. It's because of the guaranteed money. Schlesinger got it. Other guys, who were drafted around him, got it. A lot of the second-round picks haven't signed yet around the league because of the guaranteed money. And now Quinshon Judkins is, if I'm the Browns, I don't know. He might have just lost any chance at any guaranteed money he was going to get. But here's the other thing: even though he hasn't signed a contract, the NFL can still punish him because the NFL's personal conduct policy applies to all players, including those who have been drafted but have not yet signed their rookie contract. So being unsigned does not exempt a drafted player from NFL discipline for criminal conduct. The league's conduct policy is broad and designed to protect the integrity and public image of the NFL, applying to all players associated with the league. So once you're pulled into the family, whether you're officially signed up, you're under the umbrella of the NFL, and the NFL commissioner does have the authority to impose discipline. And this can include suspensions and fines. And remember, we went through this last year as Browns fans. It's 2 years in a row we've had a second round pick now in trouble before we could, although Mike Hall was in August, so training camp had already started. But Mike Hall last year charged with domestic violence, and it was eventually reduced to disorderly conduct in court. He pleaded no contest, received a 30-day suspended jail sentence, and a $250 fine along with 2 years of probation. But he was suspended 5 games. So even though it was reduced to disorderly conduct, he still got a 5-game suspension. So misdemeanor does change things a little bit, but in the league's eyes, I mean, I fully expect it just all depends what's going to come out of this, like where this ends up. But he 100% faces disciplinary action from the league, and so it's going to be there's so many things that are between the contract and the discipline that could come out of this and everything. But then you've got this. He's supposed to be at a place called Mechanical Pin Company or something tonight for a free meet and greet. This is on his Instagram. And, it's a place that they have cocktails and bowling and they play games and things like that. And, and he's supposed to be there. Like, don't know if that's going to happen now. I mean, but it gets better because not only did he have that tonight, tomorrow, he's got his kids' camp. And so, the timing of all this, he was down in Fort Lauderdale and then, probably expected to fly home today and get ready for the 2 events and then get ready for training camp. And now this. I mean, he was supposed to be RB1. And so there is so much still up in the air for Quinshon Judkins. And, I mean, there's no indication. There were no previous arrests and things like that. And we're going to talk more when we get down to the comments because people have a lot of questions. But that's where we're at right now. I mean, the newest stuff, he's out. I mean, I was checking all day on the jail. He had to get out because the inmate log disappeared around 4 o'clock. So I'm assuming it was in or around there. And there are multiple reports of people seeing him leave the jail. So around that same time. But that's neither here nor there. Right now, we've got to get all of this sorted out, and then let's just let the legal process play it out. There's no need to speculate. Like we just have to wait for the facts, find out what's going on, and all we know is he's supposed to be at that event tonight at the Mechanical Pin bowling place. Whether or not he's there, I don't know. And if he is he going to talk? I don't know. So we shall see. Just something else. The Browns need to do. We're going to talk more about this when we get to the viewer comments. Let's talk about something nice. Let's talk about some good news. How about the best players under 25 and making the list this year? Now, this is from 247 Sports, and they say Isaiah McGuire, baby. He is one of the top 25 players in the league who's under 25 years old. Had an 11.8% pass rush win rate that jumped to 24.4% in clear passing situations, according to Pro Football Focus, our favorite people. 18 of his 29 pressures also came in clear passing situations, working out to a pressure rate of just over 21%. And we've been talking about Isaiah McGuire for the last 6 weeks. Him and Alex Wright. Along with Graham and Garrett on that line, like this is going to be a lot of fun to watch these guys. They are, and it's nice to see that the league has recognized and other people are recognizing. Just like this is, remember Myles Garrett was the executives and the scouts and the analysts, the evaluators, all got together, and Jeremy Fowler puts out the list of who they voted for the top players at each position. Well, Myles Garrett, number 1 at defensive end. We had our guy make the tight end list, David Njoku. He finished number 10. What? He was ahead of Freiermuth over there in Pittsburgh. So he squeaked in there at number 10. Last year he was ranked 6th, so he did fall off because when you look at 23, his stats in 23 with Flacco, a lot of that came with Flacco in 23. And then last year, not so great, but of course, last year, I mean, the quarterback situation was a complete disaster. But his yards per catch, about 8 yards per catch. He had 64 catches and 5 touchdowns. But here's what they had nice things to say. They said he's figured it out. Before he was just an athlete with physical tools, but he's evolved into a pro tight end who had more nuance to his game as a route runner and more coverage awareness. And that's what we're going to need. And he's got to catch the easy ones. That's my big knock on David Njoku. He drops the easy ones. So that's what we're going to need. Now, they also did interior linemen. And we had our guy fall out of the top 10, but he did get honorable mention, Joe Bitonio. And Bitonio, they just said, hey, definitely a slight decline as he ages, but he's still a really good player who grades out well. Still a very consistent player compared to the rest of the field, which is something I really value at an error prevention position. So, even though Bitonio, they still have a lot of nice things to say. So it's nice to see the league recognizing our players as some of we have talent on this roster, folks, but Bitonio, slight decline as he ages, but, still one of the best in the league. Now, one thing that never declines with age is the viewer comments, and back to the Quinshon Judkins situation, because, it ate up the comments and everything. And so, the one remainder says, I'm not a Browns fan at all, but there is always some crap with this franchise. It must be torture to be a Browns fan. And it's funny because I checked in with Money Main. You already know, I was watching his show the other night, and and I said hi, and then he just happened to be on the topic of how tough this exact topic of how tough it was, must be to be a Browns fan. And he's like, why do you guys do it? And I just told him, we're Believe Land. I mean, the Browns are like one of your kids when you're a Browns fan, especially if you grew up here, like me, 5 minutes from the stadium. I grew up, and it is just this unconditional love that you have for the team. It's like one of your kids. When you're a Browns fan, that's what it's like, and you just hope for the best for them every year. And so, and these things, always happen, and they'll disappoint you, and then there's the highs, there's the highs, there's the lows. Like it is honestly. It's just like raising, one of your children. The good news is at least you don't have to pay for their college, so that's good. They don't have to pay for the Browns college. But that's the only way I can explain. We are diehard, unconditional. Doesn't matter what happens. We're going to love them no matter what. And man, oh man, when we win that first Super Bowl, look out. We had 2 million down there for the Cavs. There are going to be 10 million people downtown if the Browns ever win a Super Bowl for that parade. Just get ready. Wes Muntz, 87-97. There seems to be a problem with our scouting department. They just appear to have a real problem avoiding problems. Well, there's no history. Everybody loved Judkins at Ohio State. So that's not the thing. But here's the thing. So, and then Tex Coco kind of doubled down on it. He said, at some point you have to look at the Browns' leadership. But there is nothing. You can't pin this on. This is not that. This is whatever this is. What we'll find out as the facts come out. This week, this is something I don't think anybody saw coming. And I'll tell you what. So truth be told, the reason I was in the black golf shirt yesterday is because I was on a golf trip, and I was at the hotel. We were all at the hotel Saturday night. I was with a bunch of brothers. It was a father-son. We've been planning this. All of the boys reached legal age, and so we're gonna take them all golfing. And so we're still in Ohio, but a couple hours away, and. What a shot to the gut. We're all sitting there. We had just finished dinner, and we're out on this beautiful patio and, having some after dinner drinks and things. And, and then the alert hit. And I'm the one that broke it to everybody because I got it first. And I told her, and it was just, that was the sentiment. It's like, gosh, can we even just get to training camp? and it's like, it just never stops. And that was the sentiment, there are a lot of Browns fans in that. I think everybody in the whole group is a Browns fan. And so, and that's where the comments were going too, because it's just, it is what it is. But we've seen this thing before. We've dealt with it before. And so, but I don't, I'm not pinning this on leadership, because Judkins was squeaky clean all throughout Ohio State, even at Ole Miss. Like, I mean, so nothing. I can't lean that way, Tex Coco, and same with the Westmonths. I'm sorry, guys, but but we'll see. We got to just wait for the facts to come out. Let it all play out. I'm not speculating on anything. And we're gonna end with Jess Wicked H940, who said, "Thanks for shooting it to us straight, D Grizzy." I like that. So unfortunate. Definitely dislike this kind of news, but let's continue to keep it honest and true. And that's all. I mean, that's all I can do. I was on the road. I saw it. I was like, man, because I had pre-recorded something since I was going to be gone, and it was special too. And that's the thing. So hopefully we'll be able to air that show at some point this week. But I had a whole special thing for you for yesterday, and then that's probably why I haven't. But he goes on to say, "Thanks for that. Kudos to the NFL. Why not give Shedeur a little shine? They see those 12 jersey sales. Let's go 12. Let's go Browns. See you next time." That's what somebody says that a lot on this show. I don't know. Somebody. We'll figure it out. But yeah. And you know me. I want to end on positive. I want to keep the positive vibes going. And he's referring to the NFL putting out that the X account. I always want to still call them on tweets. I don't know. Do you call them X's? I don't know what the heck you call them anymore. But the tweet with Shedeur wearing his jersey, and it's a Cleveland Shedeur, and so I love that stuff. We love that stuff. Like, we love when Cleveland is represented well, and that was a great, nice move by the NFL. But he's referring to that, and gosh, it was like that was Friday, and it doesn't take long when you're a Browns fan for things to change fast. And so it does. But we'll wait for these facts to come out. We'll see where we're at, and we'll see if he's, if Quinshon shows up to these events and things over the next couple of days. There is a lot to sort out over the next week or so before training camp starts on Friday with the rookies reporting. The rookies report on Friday, folks. So always some talk about when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, isn't there? Yeah. It's something else. But thank you so much, folks. The orange sleeves are back. I did not have the sleeves with me, so that's why I had to go with the black polo back here in with the big orange helmet. And so thank you for bearing with me yesterday on the breaking news show. And here's the thing, folks. When we start these lives, that's where a situation where we'll go live and we'll just sit there and talk about it, and we'll figure it out on, as it's coming in. But that's a situation where coming up here in the next few weeks, when something like that breaks, I'll jump on, we'll go live, and we'll talk about it right away. So, but I appreciate it. All right. Thank you so much, folks. Go Browns. We'll see you next time.